make sure that they've moved off a fair distance. And then in all likelihood he is going to come down this tree where he, until very recently, has been continuing to lie in an awkward and uncomfortable position. So I think he's going to be very happy to see the end of these hyena and very shortly come down this tree. And I do think we are in a good position, judging by the way the trunk of this tree is shaped, that we're going to see a great view of him coming down this tree. It appears he's kind of semi-seated in that position. You'll notice he's kind of perched on a branch. So we're being spoilt with some really interesting positions from this leopard this morning. And you may hear the soft drumming of a woodpecker in a dead tree nearby. And there's two different types of woodpecker that will drum on hollow cavities to communicate. One being the bearded woodpecker, which tends to drum quite loudly, and the other is the golden-tailed woodpecker, which tends to drum more gently or softly. And this appears to be a softer, more gentle drum, so it could well be a golden-tailed woodpecker. I can't see it from where we are, but I can see the dead tree that it is probably drumming in, and they'll do that to communicate with other woodpeckers in the area. They will of course also peck into trees in order to get to their food, insects hiding in small cavities within the tree, but they will also drum against branches simply to communicate. Now he surprised me. I thought he would have come down this tree almost immediately after those hyena have moved off, but maybe he can see them and maybe they're not too far away. But I would have thought he would have come straight down this tree, as it hasn't provided him with much comfort since he's been here.
Yeah, we can hear you. Are you at the turn off to the hyena bit? Yeah, just coming along there, but just to switch off, I'll just start that wheel there.
So just to keep you updated on what's going on here, there's a third vehicle that's coming to join us, but because we've come quite far off the road and are now in a thick block, it's difficult to describe exactly where we are. So Lex just started up his vehicle while the other vehicle was in the close enough proximity to hear our vehicle audio, and that way he now can drive into the sighting. So it's just one of the techniques used to help guide people into sightings that are off the beaten track. Here he comes. This was the moment we've been hoping for. Which way is he going to come down? Is he going to go on the other side of the tree? It looks like it. So my predictions were wrong. I thought we were on a decent side here. Not the most glamorous of descents, and it looks like he's using a smaller bush to help him. Oh no, he made a mess of that. Well, this is wonderful prospects for us because now we get to follow him wherever he moves to. And there's nothing better than following these predators on the move. You'll be able to hear the oxpeckers taking off of the buffalo. One or two of them have got up, and now the one buffalo has seen him. So we'll see what happens here. The buffalo aren't too far away, and I'm fairly certain one did see him. But he's just diverted his path accordingly. And so shall we as we follow it. Certainly finding ourselves a lot of holes to fall into. There's a bird's nest in this tree, so I'm going to drive around it. It's probably not active at the moment, but I'm taking the chances. Sorry, Mr. Buffaloes. What a great way to be spending a morning following this young male leopard, and I keep saying it, but we really are being spoiled with some incredible sightings. It is tough going trying to negotiate through this vegetation and keep an eye on the leopard. But what I'm trying to do is take the path of least resistance, and eventually we will get a great shot of him. But it does require me to sometimes lose track of the animal, but loop ahead of where he's going. I'm sure VM will be able to make a plan with his handiwork on the camera. Beautiful. There's a very small termite mound here that I'm hoping he's going to sneak up. And it's just in the foreground now. Absolutely beautiful. And he has snuck up this termite mound, but sadly just behind a bush. Still making for some great views of this animal though. And I'm sure now he's going to continue down past the vehicle. But let's wait and see. He's not heading in the direction I thought he would, but has he seen something? No. Oh, apologies, he is heading straight down to the dam. We had actually, we weren't exactly where I thought I was, and I thought the dam was further in the direction I was initially heading in. He's having a small toilet break. Morning, right? How are you doing? Morning, folks. How are you doing? How's it all fall? Sorry? Oh, okay, thanks. Thanks very much. Well, I think we're going to be able to see this leopard taking a drink, which would be wonderful. It appears to be potentially chasing something. I just saw it slink off into the vegetation here. I'm not sure what it was interested in. Anyway, we're going to get ourselves into the right spot to watch him drink, which is just going to require us to link ahead quickly of where he's going. Hold on there, Liam. Well, interestingly enough, there's a hardy-dar ibis, which is a bird of a fairly decent size that's feeding on the water's edge here. Now, if this hardy-dar ibis is not careful, the leopard is going to try and catch it. So I'm not sure if the leopard's seen it yet, but it will see it at some stage, and there's actually some fairly decent cover that the leopard could use if it wanted to stalk up to this bird. Anyway, we'll watch the space, but there is a potential kill here, or potential hunt rather, that we could witness unfold. Leopard smelling very intently on this tree, and who knows, maybe there was another leopard sleeping up in that tree, maybe his brother or his mother. And his brother, Kunyuma, does like spending time at this dam, and have found him on numerous occasions lying up almost exactly where I'm parked at the moment. something or smelt something. I really think this hardy-dar is going to be in trouble if this leopard sees it. Just got a question through from Claire in New York, and she's interested to know how the eyesight of a leopard compares to that of a human's. Now, animals that have got good nighttime vision often lack color vision, so they will probably see in a more black and white tone compared to the color that we see in, but what that allows them is to have great nocturnal vision. So their eyesight at night is incredible and probably almost just like daylight for them in pitch darkness, and that is the trade-off that they sacrifice for not having color vision but having good nocturnal vision. In terms of the power of their eyesight, in terms of being able to see distance, I'm not sure how different it is to ours, but it could certainly be better than ours, as you find a lot of wild animals have got far greater bodily functions than we do. It's just our brain that's got us to where we are as humans, and our senses and strength has been traded off. It's a very good position for him to be, waiting at this dam. There's not much water around at the moment, and therefore any animals wanting to take a drink will be forced to come to these few water holes that we have on the property, and that would make for great potential ambushing opportunities for him. He can just lie here and wait for animals to come. If you don't mind just zooming into the hardy-dar for a moment. And it's actually quite interesting to watch it feeding. It's got a very long bill that it probes into the earth looking for crickets and other small animals that live underground. Worms would also be on the menu, certainly. And we've actually noticed this hardy-dar, not necessarily this exact one, but I'm guessing it could be feeding in the same area, and that's because the soil is nice and soft and also moist, so probably home to a few tasty treats, whereas the soil on the other parts of the property or not surrounding a dam would be quite hard and very difficult for the hardy-dar to penetrate with its bill.
Quarantine is moving, or he's lying?
No, he's gone to sleep. Yeah. So quarantine has laid down where he is, and we're going to stay where we are here, because I think he will get up at some stage and come closer down to the dam, and I'm hoping if and when that does happen, he sees the hardy-dar and tries to stalk it, and if that does happen, we're in the perfect position here. So we're just going to stand by and watch this hardy-dar doing its hunting, and this could become a classic example of the hunter becoming the hunted. It is so focused on its feeding, and with its head down very close to the ground, it would be a perfect opportunity for the leopard to stalk up to it, because it's very preoccupied. been calling this bird just a hardy-dar. Its full name is a hardy-dar ibis. So it's part of the ibis family. Negative, not copying him at all. Copy, perfect. Copy, thank you. Just got a question through from Trent in Fiji. Good morning, Trent, and welcome along. Trent is interested to know if it's common hunting tactics to stake out waterholes during dry periods of time. And it certainly is, Trent. Whether it's through default or through clever planning, I'm not entirely sure, because leopards and lions and other predators will also naturally need to drink, and that would attract them to a waterhole. So it could simply be that while they come to a waterhole in order to drink, they find themselves waiting in the right place or relaxing in the right place where game could come to drink and therefore be easily ambushed. But I think a lot will depend on the individual bird, individual predator rather, as just like humans, animals have got their own behavioral traits and weaknesses. Liam's just focused on a terrapin looking for breakfast. You can just see its tiny little head poking out. Its shell isn't protruding, and it is a little bit heavy, and that's why we can't see it protruding above the surface at the moment. And typically that's all we see. Oh, there's another terrapin. So they're essentially freshwater turtles. Could be one way of describing a terrapin. Here comes quarantine, and I think he's seen those hardy-dar. He has. Great. So he's just got up in a flash, and he's actually got some incredibly great cover there from which he could stalk them. Let's see what he decides to do, though. He was lying down and looking down in this direction, and there's a second hardy-dar ibis that has appeared on the scene. So now there's two of them feeding together, and here he goes. This is going to be good, and there is a really good chance he might get one. So now VM's giving you an idea of where the hardy-dar are, and he's on the move now. I'm just going to reposition ever so slightly and try and get us into the best possible position for in case he does get one. Or is he going to charge him stupidly and blow it? He hasn't taken the best route at all. no, they've seen him. He is a young and silly leopard that has blown a good hunting opportunity there. He had so much cover that he could have used that he has not. And that's a pity. But we are going to have a great view of him drinking now, that's for certain. So that's the Hardy-Dow's alarm call that you can hear going off. And what a great view this is. We are directly across from him and couldn't ask to be in a better position. He had so much cover that he could have used to stalk up to them. So, somewhat frustrating that he didn't plan his hunt a little bit more effectively this morning. What a beautiful sight with his reflection in the water. This is too good. While the blacksmith brothers getting involved in the abuse. Yeah, it looks like he is heading into that riverbed that flows out of this dam. What has he seen back there? Well, that was a beautiful sight and some interesting stuff, and it just goes to show that he does have a lot to learn with regards to hunting. He had so much cover that he could have used there, but he rather foolishly just ran straight at them, not trying to get any cover to hide behind. Excuse me. Oh well. And as you can also see, Trent from Fiji, he hasn't decided to stake this out, and it's more through default that he's ended up here. That he's licking and rolling in some buffalo dung, and they are known to do that. I suppose it's a source of minerals, and it also will, I guess, cover their scent to a small degree. And isn't this cute seeing him rolling around? I'm not sure if it is buffalo dung. It is usually buffalo dung that they do lick and Roland, but in this case it might be elephant that he's chosen. Okay, good morning, sir. Well, the reason why I came round onto this side of him is because I was hoping he was going to continue to walk down this road, which he is, and that way we are now going to have some frontal views of him. as he comes towards us. What on earth had he seen there? Or was he just running for joy? I think he was just running for joy. And I was looking back reversing, but I've no doubt that Liam did a great job capturing that awesome action. And there's this new vehicle that's just joined the sighting, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow them to follow him for a while, and as soon as I get an opportunity to pull over, I will. Oh, just having a small toilet break, and then I'll allow this vehicle that's just arrived in the sighting to spend some time and get some great views of him, because we've already had some incredible views so far this morning. But isn't this a wonderful way to be able to follow these animals and see the interesting interactions that go on along the way? Morning everyone, how are you doing? Get on the move. It really does make such a difference. They spend so many hours a day sleeping that for us to have this animal on the move is incredibly lucky. World. Now it'll be very interesting to see how far he moves now before he does lie down again, or who knows what he might come across. He may come across some more hunting opportunities in the next few moments. But the main thing that we should be happy about is that he is on the move. And now we get to see him doing what very few people get to see leopard do. They're usually such shy and secretive animals that it's only in very certain areas where you get to see them so relaxed with vehicles and carrying on with their daily business with very little concern of our presence at all. Now you can see he's sniffing those dead leaves very intently. There's a strong likelihood that another leopard would have scent marked against those leaves, and he's now processing that information. You'll notice he didn't scent mark on top of that or want to compete in any way, but he did want to process that information. And who knows, maybe he will get lucky this morning. It looks like there is something. He is showing interest in something again now, but what it is exactly, I'm not sure yet. Well, this lilac-breasted roller, it was a hornbill in the grass, and there's a lilac-breasted roller just up to the left. Oh, it's chasing something else now. That was this, oh no, that's long gone, it was a diker. But you do see how the odds are stacked heavily against this poor animal. Even the lilac-breasted roller was letting off its alarm, which you can still hear it doing. There was a small antelope, I think it was a diker, that ran off, and now everyone's shouting. Squirrels, the lilac-breasted roller, you name it, they're all blowing his cover. Again, I'll just loop ahead so that we can approach him front on, and that will hopefully reverse and get frontal shots of him as he comes towards us. which he's about to do. You got him there. He's just paced a few meters past our vehicle, and what a sight that was. We'll now let the other vehicle take a chance to follow him. That will alarm at a leopard, and even before he's even close to any potential antelope, they could be warned by the squirrels or the lilac-breasted rollers of his presence. So it is an example of how difficult it can be. And that, coupled with his inexperience that you saw, how he just ran up to those hardy-dars, and in that situation he had a perfect opportunity. There was nothing alarm calling. He had good cover to use. So it's interesting to see that his lack of experience, coupled with the fact that it is so difficult to catch prey out here, can mean he'll go for days without eating. Go again there, please, Nix. Copy, Vance. It'll be interesting to see where he heads to from now. He's aiming in the general direction of Twin Dams, but still probably a mile away from there as the crow flies, and the dam is further down to our right, so we'd have to veer more to the south in order to get there. And it looks like Abel's just made some space for us. So now we will be back in front again. Now, a lot of you may be wondering, when we are following animals like leopard and lion, are we interfering with their hunting and chasing away potential prey? And yes, obviously sometimes we may chase off an antelope, especially if we are driving through thicker vegetation. But in the same breath, we could potentially chase an antelope towards him. It's completely unintentional. And as many times as we chase prey away, we could actually aid in the animal's hunting. The bottom line is, if this animal did not want us to find it and follow it, and it did feel that we impacted negatively on its life, it wouldn't allow us to find it. They can survive in and amongst humans without humans knowing them being there, because they are so shy and elusive when they want to be. This area has been a photographic safari destination for over 50 years now, where people have been coming here and viewing leopards just as we are now for many, many decades, and that has allowed the leopards to become relaxed with the vehicles, and they allow us into their lives. And it's quite simple. If they didn't want us to see them, or they felt that we were impacting negatively on their hunting, they wouldn't let us find them. So I think that's the main fact to the story, is that of course there's going to be some minimal impact of us driving around, but it's unintentional. And how else are we going to be able to follow and view these animals and show them to people all around the world, including yourselves, unless we follow them?
Fifth time it's marked like that.
Yeah, it's an interesting marking. It's not a regular scent mark that a leopard will perform, but he does appear to be scent marking. So that's a very good point made by VM, and I was about to touch on that. He does keep doing these kind of miniature scent marks, but they're not the full-blown regular scent mark that you see adult leopards doing. Is he going to head down into the riverbed here? Yes, he is. Which is not a problem, because I know of a little shortcut that is going to take us down into the riverbed. So okay, hold on. We're going to have to use this time wisely to get into the right position. This is the part where I was hoping to find. hoping he's going to continue. We're going to come around one of these corners and he's going to be walking down the riverbed straight towards us. No, not today, not this time. Where will he be? Mark directly, oh, he hit it down into the riverbed, just below Elephant Skull. You're more than welcome to come and join. I'm not sure if Abel's still here. I've just got visual of him. He's lying up on that eroded bank, and we're just down on the riverbed below him. Okay, copy. Well spotted, VM, and it appears we did end up in the right spot, and it's always lovely being below these animals when filming them, or at least eye level with them. The camera's mounted probably 1.5 meters off or above the ground, so often it's shooting down on the animals, and it's always a great angle to have shooting up on them. Now, a lot of you may be wondering why I drove so quickly through that little section of vegetation on that little track to get us into this position, and it's because if you look around this area that we're in, if he was to cross over the riverbed and not stay in it, and we didn't see where he moved to, there's no ways we'd be able to continue viewing him. So as VM now pans around, you'll get an idea of exactly how thick it is here. Has he seen something? He seems to be intently focusing on something, but we'll keep an eye on him, and as VM pans around, you'll see why. I just wanted to make sure that the leopard did not shake us off its trail. I know how difficult it can be to find these animals, so when we've got one, we've got to make the most of it, because there have been periods where we can go for a week without seeing a leopard. So by staying in touch with them and understanding where they move, it certainly helps in finding them again. Well, I don't think too much is going to change here for the next few minutes. We'll give it a moment or two, and then maybe we can cut across to Mark and catch up with him and get an update of what he's been up to with Romeo for the last while. And we'll be sure to stay with this leopard, and if there's any action, we'll let Nicky know, and we'll come back over here.
morning again, all. Sounds like you've had some amazing time with Quarantine Mail this morning, following him as you have. And Jason and I have been driving around and refreshing our tree knowledge. Looking at trees mostly and trying to find some succulents. We haven't really seen much. We've good few birds. We've seen a few raptors this morning. Because of the weather, there are a lot of raptors around that are not flying, because with really cool air, it's a lot of energy for them to stay up, to stay aloft. So a number of raptors that we've seen have been perched in trees. We've seen an adult and separately a juvenile harrier hawk, also known as gymnogene. We've seen a couple of battalier snake eagles. I believe you saw some African hawk eagles with Scott earlier as well. We had a convention of go-away birds when we went. Oh, but you were with us when we were watching the crocodile for a bit. But it was all quiet. You know, a cool day like today, and it is rather cool. The temperatures does keep a lot of the animals hidden. We did see, had a brief visual of a young male kudu running into the bush. We've seen one or two common duiker. Black squirrel, maybe one or two squirrels too. Nikki's saying that someone did ask why they called a go-away bird. It's only really for English-speaking people that they call it go-away bird, because they have an alarm call. I mean, they have various different alarm calls, and it depends on the intensity of the call, but when they really are alarmed, their call sounds like they're saying, go away. Go away! Go away! That's my best impression of a go-away bird alarm call. Yeah. Back onto Central Road. We're going to go and see what's happening at Gowrie Dam. Yes, magnetic monkeys traveling again. Covered pretty much the entire eastern seaboard of this pea green sea that we have. Actually, it's turning yellow. The sea of green is slowly getting brown. We were up on Cheetah Cutline and did a little bit of Drakensberg Drive. We did Nyala Roads, and it's been a wonderful morning. Not as great as the rest of you, and Scott, having spent time with the Leopard and a whole bunch of things. I've heard a lot of the questions that are coming through, and I think a lot of the questions have actually been answered. There was a question how long the hyenas would stay there. Well, they didn't stay very long. All sorts of questions that have, but just by spending time with the Leopard, you get to answer your own questions sometimes. I find amazing. me giggling. This is reacting to voices in my ear. How's Jason's tree knowledge? Question from Nikki in Final Control. Impressive, Nikki. Very impressive. Jay knows his trees. Oh, yes, fresh ellie dung, but been driven over by somebody. Looks like they headed down Gary Cutline, maybe. Maybe we should take a look past the big Jackleberry. I need an ellie fix for the Sunday. Another thing. 2 things about Sunday. What did we do, Romeo?
Just impressive generally. General well done.
Yes, you are. Gary Cutline. What was I saying? Today. 2 important things about today. Apart from it being a Sunday, a cloudy Sunday. So it's just a cloudy day. It's not Sunday. It's a cloudy day. But being the day of the week that it is, fireside chat tonight, if the weather holds. Otherwise it turns into a front seat chat under a tarpaulin for a bit. Fireside chat. But the other important thing about tonight, just after our fireside chat, we're going to Earth Hour. That magnificent Jackleberry that Jason's showing you now. Excuse me, Dove. Tonight is Earth Hour. I think it's tonight. What's the date today?
I do not know. 29.
The 20-something of March. At least I know it's March. Let's see. I'm going to try and get an answer out of my bag. Oh, oops. Yesterday was Earth Hour. Oh, somebody help me. Please tell me we didn't miss Earth Hour. I thought it was the 28th today. I think Earth Hour is the 28th. Does that mean I've got to wait a whole year for Earth Hour again? But my whole year, I live Earth. I don't have electricity, so I switch. I don't have lights to switch off, so I'm permanently Earth year. And we were sitting in the dark anyway last night when we were eating. We were all sitting outside just with the light of a waka waka. No sign of ellies. Maybe it was just a couple of tracks that looked like they were going north. Maybe they headed towards Gowrie Dam. So maybe we ought to just throw a Yuri. Do a Yuri. Anybody else in the parts of the world call it a Yuri? Maybe in Australia they call it a Yuri. Like a Barbie. Somebody's saying April 22nd is Earth Day, so I can celebrate that. Although I celebrate Earth Day every day. That's why I'm barefoot. I celebrate life on Earth and live in its energy. Some people saying 28th, some people saying 29th. What is a boma? Here's my elephant that I'm looking for, or one of them. What is a boma? boma is an enclosure. A boma is, this is a little boy, Ellie. Maybe there is a herd around here somewhere and he's following the herd. There's a herd, there's a little youngster. My day is complete. I can breathe, I can sigh, a sigh of relief. I have an elephant. Hello, little boy. Where's your mother? So I can ask her permission to be here. You're going to frame yourself in front amongst all the dead wood. What was I saying before I was interrupted by an elephant?
Foot band celebrate.
Earth Day and Wonder what he just ate. That little thing with the compound leaf that he was eating. Oh, what is a boma? Thank you, Nikki. A boma is an enclosure. It is traditionally, I suppose, a ring of thorn branches to corral cattle at night to protect them from
Angry animals.
predators. That's the angry. Sorry, my brain is in different gears because they're elephants. I've also heard that it is an abbreviation from British warfare in Africa, and it stands for British Officers Mess Area, BOMA. I don't know how true that is. It might just be coincidence. I don't know the origins of the word. We might call it etymology. The word boma. Let's go around onto the road again. I think we're troubling these little lilies. Anyways, nowadays a boma is considered, traditionally a boma is this area that lodges build where they have a central fire and often tables set around the fire and either a reed wall or some sort of enclosure that creates a really nice atmosphere. There's a mama elephant. Two big mama elephants. Or is that a bull with the mama elephant? Thinks. It's a big bull. Trunk over tusk. Two bulls having a spar. Wow. I thought it was a mama because there was a little one running towards them. Didn't even stop to look at what it could have been. But actually it's two bulls having a little tussle. A friendly sparring match. Yeah, sort of. It's in your hands. Don't stop on my account, boys. Now that you're out in the open, have a game. Oh, this is quite amazing. Two slow giants wandering through the bushveld. Another young bull. There's a large group of ellies here. Why didn't we come this way earlier? Lots of elephant off in the bush. Morning, boys. Oh, there's another bull, much younger bull. Morning, boys. Well, unfortunately, time is up, and it's time to say good night and goodbye and love you lots and all of that, and hopefully we can spend some time with them a little bit later. Nice group of ellies. I'm thinking that it might be a bachelor herd, but there was a youngster here that was a little bit younger, or maybe a little bit too young to be part of this bachelor group. And I'm seeing another one, 6 ellies further in, beyond this little one-tusked boy that we can see now. Oh, come on, boys, have a tussle just here in front of us. This bigger bull is clearly the larger, trying to intimidate the younger. Anyways, well, it is that time of day, so we'll see you at 4 o'clock this afternoon, Central African time. Goodbye from Scott and Wiem. They are with quarantine. He's lying up where you left him, and Scott might stay there a little while, but for us, we're going to be heading back to camp. We need to go and switch equipment off because it's cloudy, and we want to keep power for this evening. So we will see you a little bit later. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Love you lots.